Producer Dan Curtis jolted awake in his Manhattan apartment, heart racing. He had seen something in his sleep, something he couldn't shake. In that dream, a young woman stepped off a train at an empty station. She looked lost, the kind of lost that feels permanent. They had no idea what they'd unleashed. But Curtis had a secret. He wasn't interested in writing about marriages and arguments. He wanted ghosts, curses, and the supernatural. The first ratings were miserable, a 4.1, ranking 13th out of 18 daytime shows. By the end of the year, it had dropped to last place. ABC gave Curtis an ultimatum: raise the ratings in 26 weeks, or the show dies. That pressure became the turning point. Curtis decided to reveal what he had been holding back all along. April 18, 1967, episode 211. A gravedigger named Willie Loomis breaks into the Collins family mausoleum. He opens a chained coffin, expecting treasure. Instead, he awakens Barnabas Collins, a vampire. Played by Jonathan Frid, a 43-year-old Canadian Shakespearean actor, Barnabas wasn't supposed to last more than 13 weeks. But within days of his arrival, everything changed. Ratings jumped. Teenagers rushed home after school just to watch him. By the following year, the numbers doubled. For the first time, daytime television had a vampire, and he wasn't a monster. He was tragic, guilt-ridden, almost romantic. Frid played Barnabas like a man cursed, not evil. Audiences, especially teenage girls, fell in love. By 1968, Dark Shadows was drawing nearly 9 million daily viewers. Frid received thousands of fan letters every week, many from girls asking him to bite their necks. The show's soundtrack even hit the Billboard Top 20. Quentin's theme got a Grammy nomination. Everything about Dark Shadows was defying logic. But it wasn't just a show anymore. It was a cultural event. And that's exactly when everything started to go wrong. It had become ABC's crown jewel. So Dan Curtis decided to take it to the big screen. House of Dark Shadows premiered in August 1970. It was meant to be a reward for fans, a cinematic version of the show they loved. But what they got instead was a blood-soaked nightmare. This wasn't the melancholy vampire from television. This was horror. Real horror. Barnabas Collins didn't just bite, he ripped. Stakes were driven into chests, blood sprayed, bodies twisted. Children screamed in theaters. By 1970, Dark Shadows had reached a peak that seemed unstoppable. So ABC made a quiet decision. When Dan Curtis told the cast in January 1971 that the show was ending, the network pretended it was because of ratings. But everyone knew the truth. They were replacing it with something safe. But Dark Shadows refused to die. Reruns became cult events. Conventions formed. Collectors traded scripts, photos, and props. And decades later, in 2012, Tim Burton and Johnny Depp resurrected the legend for a new generation. When the lights went down and the fog rolled in once again, audiences were reminded of how one strange dream, a woman stepping off a lonely train into the mist, created one of the most groundbreaking, controversial, and unforgettable shows in television history. It was never just about a vampire, it was about the power of imagination and the shadows we invite into our homes when we turn on the TV.